Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Allie. I am a certified personal trainer and running coach, and today we are talking about how to improve your running utilizing a running journal. You guys, I have been utilizing a running journal for years. Way before I was a coach, I was in a consistent habit of analyzing my runs and seeing just how I could get a little bit better each and every time I went out for a workout, okay? So, what I want us to kind of think about is we track things all the time, right? On our Garmin watches, our Apple watches, they're tracking our runs. Same thing, maybe you track your food. Maybe you have like MyFitnessPal, or you're tracking your calories and your macros. We're pretty used to tracking things, but are we good at analyzing things? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. How do we utilize a running journal to really analyze what's going on in our workouts and how we can get just a little bit better each and every time we go out and do a run. All right, so let's dive on in. All right, so like I said, I have been running for years. Recently, I actually went ahead and created a journal and published it on Amazon. There is a link in the comments so you guys can take a look at that. Because my writing is chicken scratch and I don't want to show you my journal, but I want to share with you guys how I've been keeping track of my runs and how you guys can too. So I'm going to utilize the journal that I created. You guys are welcome to go on Amazon and order this. You'll get it within a couple days, or I'm going to tell you everything that's in this journal. You guys can go ahead and recreate this journal on your own. Okay? So let's kind of talk about this, right? We are utilizing this to analyze data. Yes, we can track it virtually, but I'm old school, right? The same way I feel like I remember things more if I write them down. I feel like I remember my runs and I can think about the details and look back and remember those runs a little bit more when I actually write them down, which is really why having a physical notebook has really helped me over the years, because just going back through my Garmin data, it really doesn't help me remember or visualize or really go through the data that's going to help me next time I go and hit the pavement. All right, so I'm going to show you what's inside my journal. Inside, we've got first page. Inside, it's really a welcome to your journal. It's really talking about analyzing the details and what you can get out of the journal when you actually put the journal to use in the way that it is meant to be intended. The next page is really to how to use the journal, right? And this is the important part, because there's so many journals out there that just give you a place to log your runs. This journal is not for you to just log your runs. Yes, you're going to log the data, but that's not how we're going to get the most out of this journal, become a better runner. We don't become better runners just by filling in the details, okay? It comes after that, all right? So, number one, log your runs. You want to log the details, all the details. So we're going to be diving in so much deeper into what all the details actually are, but there's no amount of detail that's too big or too small. Everything from what temperature it is, to what sports bra you wore, to what socks you wore, to how long you warmed up, all of that is going to go into how your performance actually was. So Details, 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 and trust me, I've got a lot of places inside of my journal where you can add those details, okay? Number 2 is reflect. Because we're not just logging the details, I want you to take a moment to go back and reflect on everything. Go back, analyze the data. Look at this, like you're a scientist, right? Analyze the data. What could have been better? Where can we improve? What went right? What do we want to replicate next time, right? All of that is going to come from the reflection piece. Number 3 is going to be refine. So this is where that brainstorming comes in. What are we going to do next time that's going to improve our run? What could we do differently? Could we wear a different pair of shoes? Could we wear a different outfit? Could we eat a little bit better before our run next time? Could we drink more water? Could we go on a different route? Could we run at a different time? Think about how we could make our run just a little bit better next time we go out and run, okay? That is where we go and refine the process. Next, number 4, you actually have to implement it. Just imagining what we can do better next time isn't gonna get you results, right? We actually have to implement it. So whatever you say, hey, this is going to make me a better runner next time if I do this, next time you go and run, you actually got to do it. Implement. Take action. Okay? The last one is repeat. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Okay? So, 1, log. 2, reflect. 3, refine. 4, implement. 5, repeat. All right, so let's dive on into the details a little bit. All right, so I have all the details actually written out here for you. So if you're not watching this video, you're not overwhelmed when you open this notebook and have no idea what's going on. I actually took the time to kind of wrote out a little bit about all the details that we're going to go through today. So I also, oh yeah, you guys, I have a cute little place for the planning, so you can talk about your long-term goals, your short-term goals, any upcoming races, and extra notes, because it's a journal. You want to keep everything in one place. So, this is what your daily log looks like, okay? And as we go in, we want to fill in all of these details. So I'm going to show a big picture of the screen here so you guys can see what the journal looks like. In case you can't see my little picture on the screen, here is a nice clear picture of it. So hopefully you can get an idea of what is inside of this journal. So let's dive on into the details, okay? So the first one is the date. Okay, now this is important because it's not just, we're keeping track because today is November 17th, right? How does that date correlate with what's going on? Is it the holidays? Do you notice that your runs are a little off during the holidays because you're busy and overwhelmed? Does the season have to do with your run? The date is more important, and you really can look and see how that correlates with everything. If you also are a woman and you track your cycle, you can actually see if your cycle lines up with the dates that you've logged inside of your journal to see if there's a correlation between your hormone cycle and your performance in your running. Okay, so date is important. The next one is the time of your run, because we all have this natural circadian rhythm, right? The times where we naturally want to go to bed, the time where we naturally wake up, and our energy levels kind of ebb and flow throughout the day, pretty naturally, right? So how do your energy levels affect your runs? Do you notice that you perform better in the mornings or in the afternoons or after work? See if there's a correlation between the time of your workout and your performance, okay? The next one is distance. Obviously, this is just important part of tracking. You want to see if there's a correlation between your energy levels and your distances, and just keep track so that way we can see kind of the patterns in the distances and how you feel and perform. The next one is your route or the surface that you are running on, because you could have a 3-mile run on a treadmill, on a track, and on a trail up in the mountains somewhere, right? And all 3 of those 3-mile runs could have completely different outcomes in your pace and your effort levels needed to complete that run. So keeping track of what route that you did and what surfaces you were on are going to really be helpful when analyzing your performance. Okay, because a hilly run and a flat surfaced run and a beach run with a sandy surface, all of that is going to affect your pace, your effort level, your energy levels, and really the outcome of your run. So keep track of that. Obviously the next one is time. How long did it take you to complete your run? This is pretty self-explanatory. You got to keep track of, your improvement, how long it took you to run on the various surfaces or on your various routes. Next is your heart rate. Now, heart rate is something that will help you looking at maybe what training zones that you are in. It'll also help you take a look at your effort level. And if you're ready to kind of look at your heart rate to kind of narrow in on your training, keeping track of your heart rate is going to be really, really, really important. The next one is the weather. The weather can have a huge impact on your performance, whether it is raining or snowing or 90 degrees or 40 degrees or super windy. All of those different weather conditions can have a huge impact on your performance. So I think it's really great to kind of keep track of what the weather conditions were for that day, so that way you can kind of see, like, hey, I noticed, when it was super windy, my pace was 1.5 minutes slower. So that way you can see the correlations in your performance, okay? The next one is your pace. Now, yes, you can put your average pace, but there's so much more to your pace to actually look at. Did you have negative splits? Did you have positive splits? Take a look at your pace, take a look at your splits, and see what you can get from that information and put it in this little section that I have inside of the journal, because that will help you kind of determine a little bit more about your run. Because I kind of think of this, right? When I think about pace, is that, maybe I felt really, really good in the beginning of my run, but then I felt really tired and I slowed down a little bit, and I see that trend in my pace. Maybe next time I can analyze that data and realize I should start a little bit slower, so that way I have a more consistent energy level throughout my run. All right. The next one is RPE. And RPE is kind of short for rate of perceived exertion. Now, rate of perceived exertion is completely relative to you, okay? Because an 8-minute mile to me might put me at, an RPE 5 or 6. But an an 8-minute mile to you might put you at an RPE level of, an 8 or 9. So it's completely relative, okay? Really, it's just number 1 is like sitting on the couch, and number 10 is running for your life. So the majority of your training should be anywhere from a 4-5 pace, should be about a 4-5 effort level. It should be that nice, easy run, but then occasionally maybe putting in those tempo runs or that speed work that's going to increase that effort level a little bit more. So really take a look at where your effort level was for that workout. And you might notice that today, a 10-minute mile might be an effort level 6 for you. But you might notice that in 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, a 10-minute mile might be an effort level of a 4 or 5. So I think keeping track of that RPE and comparing it to the other data, like the distance, the speed, your route, is really important when tracking your progress. All right? So the next thing I have inside of this journal are these little kind of emoji looking things. And those emojis are for hydration, nutrition, and of course your mood, because those things are also going to have a huge impact on your performance. So this isn't necessarily a food log or a nutrition log or a hydration tracker. This is just for you to kind of keep track of where your nutrition was for that day. So out of these little emojis, you can keep track on a scale of 1 to 5. How do you feel about your nutrition for that day? Did you kind of indulge in the junk food? Did you have all the sweets? Did you feel like you could have maybe nourished your body a little bit more? Pick on a scale of 1 to 5 how you feel about your nutrition. Or did you feel like you had a lot of proteins, complex carbs, you felt like you nourished your body really good, you had food that really was going to fuel your run? Maybe you're at a 5 out of 5, right? So on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you feel about your nutrition for that day? Or how do you feel about how do you feel your nutrition affected your run? Because if you're going and running at 6 o'clock in the morning, the nutrition and the food choices that you made the day prior for dinner or snack or late night munchies might be affecting your run the next morning. So think about your nutrition in total rather than a just day by day basis, okay? Same thing for hydration, right? On a scale of 1 to 5, how do you feel about your hydration? Could it have been better? Okay, could you have drank more? Did you feel really good about how much you're drinking? On a scale, keep track of that. All right. The next one is, of course, mood. Okay, and I've got all these cute little smiley faces and grumpy faces because running is a mental sport, and a lot of our mindset is controlled by emotions. So how is your mood? Did you have a good day at work? Did you wake up feeling strong and refreshed? Are you in a great mood? Did you have some good news and you're ready to rock and roll? Are you angry and you need to relieve some of that stress and that pressure by going for a hard run? Do you need just a mental clarity day? Are you feeling a little overwhelmed and you just need a run for your mental health? How are you feeling? Track that in the mood section, okay? Because your mood is going to have an impact on your performance. All right. So already there is a ton of data to go through. There is so much that we could go through in just that little section on this journal. And that's only half the page, you guys. It's so much that we can go through on how we can improve our performance just based on that data. Can you get in the habit of analyzing? Okay. But what else can affect our runs, right? Because I do leave a big section for miscellaneous information. So that could be, how did you warm up? What did your warm up look like? Did you just walk? Did you do some light exercises prior? Do you think that affected your performance? What shoes did you wear? How much sleep did you get the night before? Where are you in your hormone cycle? What clothes did you wear? There is so much information that we can dive on into, and honestly, I don't have enough room in this journal to put every single little detail, but I do leave a section for you to think. After your run, immediately when you get done, think about any little detail that you think might have had an impact on your run that day, okay? The next one that I have is your intention, because every run that you do should have an intention behind it. Because if you're just going out and running just to check off the box, or just because your running plan told you to go for a run today, isn't a good enough reason to make you a better runner. So why are you going out and doing your run today? What's the purpose behind it? Are you running because it's a speed workout? Are you running because this is just an easy run and you're trying to get some more miles in? Are you running for your mental health? Do you need a de-stress? Are you running because you just absolutely love running and you love the freedom of just going outside and being yourself? Are you running to improve your endurance and doing those long runs? Why are you running? What is the intention behind it? Okay? Really get in tune with those intentions and make sure to write it down each day, because then you can kind of keep track. Like, oh, when I have the intention of doing speed work, I run a whole lot faster than on the days when I just go out to run for no reason, right? Keep track of your intention. The next one is what I call body talk, all right? Because so often, most of us can't afford a sick day. When we get sick or something happens, we kind of suppress it, right? Like, ugh, my ankle's a little stiff, my knee's a little sore, but like I still gotta take the kids to school and I still gotta, go grocery shopping. Oh well, suppress any of those feelings, right? But we need to listen to our body. We need to get in tune with our body. So, can you listen to what your body is trying to tell you? Because here's the thing. Pain is not necessarily a bad thing. Pain is your body's way of communicating with you. And if we can hear our bodies when it's whispering to us, when it's saying like, hey, my hamstring is hurting a little bit. Like, hey, something's up. If we can listen to it when it's whispering, when it's just a little naggle, then we might be able to figure out the problem and solve the issue and handle the problem before our body is screaming at us, before we're bent over in pain or have pulled a muscle or tore a hamstring or done something really critical that's gonna knock us out of running for a long time. Let's listen to our bodies when it's whispering to us. So I have an entire section here where you can write out what your body is trying to tell you from that run. Did your calf cramp up around mile 3? Did your lungs feel a little tight today? Did you notice that your shins were a little achy the first mile or two? Write all of that down so that way you can start to analyze the patterns that your body is trying to tell you, okay? And if we start to take an intentional moment to think back on what our body was saying during our run, we might be able to prevent bigger issues later on. All right? So, this is the fun part, you guys. This is my favorite part. This is where now I leave an entire section at the bottom for that reflection process, right? We've done the logging. We logged our distance and the time and the miscellaneous information and the body talking. We logged all the stuff. Now let's reflect and refine, okay? And at the bottom, the next question is what went well, right? What went well on your run? Can you acknowledge the positive parts? Even on the crappiest run, what's something that went good on this workout, right? What about your workout today do you want to replicate in the future? Did you bring the right running fuel with you? Did you bring the right amount of water? Did you wear your perfect running shorts that didn't make you chafe? What went well? What do you want to replicate in the future? So that way you don't have to try to remember later on because you already have it written out exactly what you want to replicate in the future, okay? The next question is what could be better next time? Where could there be improvement? Now, I know we don't want to look at the negatives, but looking at what could be improved is not negative. When we're talking about our performance, when we're looking at our runs, we're allowed to take the emotion out of it. We don't have to get emotional because we had a bad run. Let's look at the facts. Let's look at the data. How can we analyze our run to really look and see what could be improved next time? Maybe you need to improve your nutrition because you didn't eat very well and that really translated into your energy levels for your run today. Maybe you were a little dehydrated. Maybe it was really hot and you didn't bring enough water. Maybe you wore the wrong shirt and it was chafing when you were running. Maybe you didn't wear sunscreen and you got sunburned, right? What could be improved next time that's going to get you just a little bit better the next time you go for your run? So that's where that brainstorming is happening. That's where we get to kind of be our own scientist, right? And that doesn't mean that the things that we come up with are going to be perfect. This isn't a process where we're going to become 1,000 times better overnight. This is a process. That's why in this entire running journal, there's 165 entries because you get 165 chances to become just a little bit better. And just imagine if you became 1% better each and every time you went out for a run, just by taking 10 to 15 minutes and writing out the data, analyzing the data, reflecting, refining, and implementing. Imagine if you took 10 to 15 minutes after your run to do that and you got 1% better each and every time you went out for a workout. Where would you be 165 runs from now? How much better would you be next month, in 6 months, next year, if you really took the time to think about how you can improve your running? This is me teaching you how to coach yourself, how to be aware of your body, how to be aware of your training, so that way you can become the fastest, strongest, and most athletic version of you. So, hopefully this video has helped you realize how you can use a running journal to improve your running. If you want to support me, if you would like a copy of this running journal, you will find a link in the notes so you can purchase your journal on Amazon. So that's it for me today, you guys. I will see you guys very soon, okay? Bye.